Hello, Richard Knudsen here again. And in this presentation, I want to show you some of my favorite things in Dynamics CRM 2011 from the standpoint of a working Dynamics CRM 2011 consultant. And I'll show them to you in the context of fleshing out this as yet pretty bare project custom entity that really doesn't have much right now except this name field here. Bare bones. And what I want to do is a few things. I'm going to maybe add a field or two to this, but mainly what I want to do is show you how much easier it is in Dynamics CRM 2011 to do things like create custom fields on the fly, create relationships between entities. In particular, I'll have a many-to-one relationship from project to account and another many-to-one from project to contact. See how that goes. And I'm going to use an important new feature in Dynamics CRM 2011 called filtered lookup, so that my lookup to contacts is only going to display to users contacts that are associated with an account. Now it sounds like a lot of stuff, but I think you'll, if you haven't seen this yet, be favorably impressed with how easy this is, and in particular how much easier it is in CRM 2011 than in CRM 4. So without further ado, what I want to do, I'm on the project form here, the new project record, and I'll just call this project test and save it so I have my full form to work with. Now, rather than going to system, customize entities and that whole drill, I'm just going to click on customize and do in-place customization here on the form. So I'll go ahead and click customize the form. And when my form editor comes up, I want to add a field here, but I don't need to drill down through the entity and customize the entity, because in the Field Explorer I can simply click New Field and create a new field on the fly. Create one new field called Start Date. Give it a date and time type. Save and close. And then notice start date fills in here. I'll use drag and drop to push it out there onto the form. And don't worry, I'm not going to create all the rest of the fields that would really flesh out my project entity, but I did want to at least show you one. But now what I want to do is let's create the relationships. So I want to create a many-to-one relationship from project to account. Now, I don't have to create the relationship explicitly in Dynamics CRM 2011, because what I can do is create a new field and simply create a new field with a new field type, which is going to be a lookup field. The name of this thing is going to be account, because this is a lookup to the account entity, and the target record type, I'll make that account, give this a better name, call it project account, and I'll accept all the rest of the defaults. Go ahead and save and close that. And that's all I need to do. So this does, behind the scenes, create the many-to-one relationship that I want from project to account, or for one-to-many from account to project. And it creates that lookup field here. Now simply drag it from the Field Explorer out onto the form like that. And now I can create, similarly, the many-to-one from project to contact in the same manner. So I click New Field. And I'll give this one a better name. Call it Responsible Contact. This is also going to be a lookup. This time against contact. And I'll accept the rest of the defaults, save and close. Then drag and drop responsible contact out onto the form. I'll pop it down there right underneath account, like that. Now, what I want to do is we test the form, we can preview it. I'll preview the form in update mode, and I'll see if those lookups work. So if I look up against account, I don't have much in my little database here, but I've got a couple of account records, Acme and Millennium, so I can see the account lookups working okay. If I selected one of those, this project would be associated with Acme. Do the lookup for responsible contact, and I'll show you the problem I'm going to solve next, which is that I've got a mishmash of contacts here, which is similar to the Dynamics CRM 4.0 experience, which is that I've got contacts from all different accounts, but I want the functionality here to only show users the contacts that are associated with, in this case, the Acme account. This is confusing to have all the rest of these. So how do I make it so that responsible contact only looks up against a subset of my contacts? In Dynamics CRM 4.0, that required code, but not in Dynamics CRM 2011. If I open up the responsible contact lookup field, this is now available as a so-called declarative customization, no code required, and it's going to be accessible in this related records filtering section of the field properties for these lookups. So what I want to do is only show records where the account matches the parent customer of the contact, like so. I can optionally give users the option to turn the filter on or off. For now, I'll leave that checked in, although in the production environment, arguably I might want to uncheck it. But now let's go ahead and accept that. So basically what it's going to do is it's only going to, by default, show me a list of contacts that match the selected account on that parent customer field. So let's go ahead and save this and then preview it. And when I preview it, we'll see how different the experience is here compared to what I had before. And now, go select an account. There's Acme. And now when I browse out to the responsible contact, notice I've only got two. Only the contacts that are associated with that account. If I select different account, select Millennium, the project's going to be associated with Millennium. Now I've got only a subset of contacts appearing that are filtered by the match on the parent customer. I've given users the ability to turn this on or off, so if for some reason, maybe I haven't got properly associated contacts and accounts yet, it really is going to be Jeff Lindstrom, or maybe a consultant from another company is going to be the responsible contact. But we've got the ability to go back and forth like that. And this, again, was something that required a fair amount of code to do in Dynamics CRM 4, but does not in Dynamics CRM 2011. So what do we see? We saw a few things. We saw how much easier it is to save and close. I can now publish those changes, by the way, and I'd be done, and now it would be out in production for the rest of my users to use. We saw how easy it was. As a matter of fact, let me do that so you can see everything in action. So I'll publish those changes, close the form, and now let's refresh it by reopening the form. And here are those customizations in the production environment. So what did we see? We saw how easy it was to do in-place customization simply by clicking Customize, assuming you have the right security privileges to do that. Then I saw how we can use, once we're in customization, the Field Explorer to add new fields on the fly if we need them. I added the start date field, but then what I did was used the same functionality, created a new field, and creating a lookup field, as we saw, creates those one-to-many relationships between entities that are so important in the Dynamics CRM platform. And the last thing we did was we looked at that filtered lookup on the contact field. So Richard Knudsen signing off, and I hope you found this helpful.